Live TV Talk on your digital device, on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Download the SVP TV app right now. Check us out every Tuesday on Comcast Cable, Channel 17, 8:30 p.m. And we are live every Friday on Facebook Live, 6 o'clock in the evening. You've got a question? Our attorneys have the answer. So let's talk law with Attorney Daryl O'Neill on the SVP TV network.
So we'll go back into that.
Sounds good, Daryl.
Hey, if you got Facebook, you can do Facebook Live. You got YouTube Live. That's what I was. Yeah, Facebook, YouTube Live. You can watch the show right now. If you got Fire Stick, Apple TV, Roku, or if you got the SVP TV Network app, you can also review the show live. Live is, you don't get any better than live.
No question.
We can ask you. You can ask us any questions, and we'll answer those questions.
Right.
Now I gotta tell you, man, for lawyers that giving y'all free legal advice, man, y'all sure ain't trying to get none. So, but anyway, that's that's.
I don't understand it, Darren. I just raised my hourly rate too, man. I'm telling you, look, this is my 30th year.
Yeah.
So I deserve a raise.
Oh, man, yeah. So look, call in. I mean, Ms. Angel's gonna put the. She's going to put the number up, so call in and we'll answer any of those questions.
Sounds good, Daryl.
Got to give our shout outs to California. I would love to talk to my son out there.
Oh, good.
Give our shout outs to Little Rock, Arkansas, West Memphis, Arkansas, Memphis, Shelby County, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Mom to the great state of Missouri.
Always.
Always.
And also to the people who are suffering from all of the smoke that's coming from Canada and flooding the whole United States of America.
Yeah, that's a New York issue, ain't it? Thanks.
No, it's coming down this way too.
Yeah.
Because it's something going on with the atmosphere here that's kind of keeping it from hitting us, but it's affecting the entire United States.
Last week, Jerome, we started a show, and we started, the show was really about landlord-tenant.
That's right.
But the reason why we brought that show up is because real recent, there was a house fire.
Yes.
And in this house fire, I think 4 children lost their life in this house fire.
Yes, 4 precious little babies.
Yeah, and so the question becomes, is your landlord responsible? What the liability, do you have any recourses, so on and so forth.
And also, why don't you have renter's insurance, which I don't know, that's probably just contents.
Yeah.
But also, be very careful, too, about how you are hooking up these, devices that you have, overloading the circuits and stuff like that, because, the crime is so bad until everybody's got bars on their windows. So even when the first responders show up, they have a hard time trying to get to the people.
Yeah. I mean, so, I think a person called in last week or week before last, or maybe Angel sent us a question, and the person was talking about damage to their property and could they have bars. No, that was a client I was talking to.
Okay.
and that client basically said that somebody broke in her house. And she said that she felt violated. And she had approached the landlord about fixing the door and about putting bars on her windows. So she asked me about her lease.
Okay.
The problem is the lease agreement said that after they turned it over to her, all maintenance, all things that she wants to change, edit, fix, or whatever were her responsibilities. And and that's what you do on a lease. And in your contract, and when we're talking about landlord-tenant, that whole premise is based off of a contract.
Right.
And in that contract, you can basically do anything. I mean, obviously the Uniform Residential Landlord-Tenant Act does put some
parameters around. Yeah.
But it doesn't say that the tenant is responsible for maintenance. I can make the tenant responsible for maintenance. I can make the tenant responsible for having insurance on a property. I can make the tenant responsible for cleaning up the property, just different things. I can make the tenant responsible for a lot of different things.
Right.
And smoke detectors, lights.
And that's very interesting. And it's just wonderful that that your client came to you about the situation, because you're right. There are some leases that require you to have renter's insurance.
And actually, a good landlord or smart landlord would also make you have general liability insurance.
That's right.
But again,
I don't know, because that's very expensive.
It could be,
but I don't know if you can require me over and above.
I can do whatever I want. See, that's the problem, Jerome, and that's what people don't realize. It's a contract.
That's true.
I mean, we can put anything we want in a contract as long as it's not illegal.
Right.
I mean, I can't say, I can't even think of something stupid that I can't put in there.
And the thing about it too is that it makes the landlord the loss payee in your insurance policy.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
Well, but it's no different than a mortgage insurance.
Well, that's true too.
I mean, when you have insurance on your property and if something happens, the mortgage company is the payee.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, you along with both of y'all.
That's right. Both of you are.
But the mortgage company they get some say in it.
And you're absolutely right, because you cannot receive that check from the insurance company without the, you're not supposed to anyway.
Without the landlord,
without the
mortgage
company's name being on it.
And some people cash it anyway. I mean, it's a bunch of.
So that means somebody signed.
That's a fraud, is what it is. But it's happening all the time. So, in that case that we were talking about last week, we were talking really because 4 children died.
Right.
So the question really becomes, what kind of liability did the landlord have? And there was an argument, or there was a thing that the landlord was in the process of evicting these people.
Yeah. And I think the landlord was trying to help rescue him too. For some reason or another, he was on the property around the same time, and he was instrumental in trying to assist in rescuing the children, unsuccessful.
Yeah. I mean, so here's the question, Jerome. Is it foreseeable that a person that's getting ready to be evicted would steal utilities? Is that foreseeable?
Interesting.
You think that's foreseeable?
The answer is yes. And the reason why, desperate situations calls for desperate means. It's so hot, 92 degrees, and since my utilities is off, I don't have any air, and I got small children. It's foreseeable that I'm going to try to find a way to cool the premises.
Wow. Well, why wouldn't it be more foreseeable that you would leave and go stay in a shelter, or go stay with your parents or family members or so on and so forth?
Well, it probably wore out maybe. Well, look, let's not talk specifically about what may or may not.
I'm just talking about as a whole. I'm not putting any specificity on this.
It may be that you worn out your welcome already, and it may be that you've again worn out your welcome. And it may be that the shelter won't let all parties come, just women and children.
Well, and then the other thing about it,
maybe the dad cannot come to the shelter.
If you leave the premises and you haven't been evicted, there's a question of whether or not you're abandoning. So, I mean, then you got your stuff in there. I mean, there's a lot of
It's a catch-22. Well, the first thing is you po. Is there any relief of mid-po? Someone one time told me that I'd rather be dead than to be po.
Damn, that's deep.
Because poor people just catch it, man. Everybody feeds on poor people. Most these little small grocery stores, that's what they rush in and they get rich in the poor neighborhood and take the money out. And that's why the community remains poor. But that's a stain there. I mean, what do you do?
Jerome said, man, I'd rather be dead. I'd rather be dead than poor.
Than poor. Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what, man. That's deep, Jerome. I'm not certain I would agree to you, man, because
I'm
people that look like us, man, were poor for a long, long time.
That's right.
And if they had been dead, people like me and you may not
would
be
not
here.
have come along.
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
I mean, we wasn't the Jefferson, a good time poll.
Right.
For whatever reason, man, they couldn't get out of that damn project to save them. They couldn't get like the Jeffersons and move on up, man. Yeah, but anyway, the thing about the landlord-tenant, Jerome, is it's just a contract.
Right.
And the problem that you have is if you're being evicted because you're in violation of the contract, the landlord is in a catch-22.
Just for sure.
Because the landlord, if it's foreseeable that you would steal utilities, then the landlord should be allowed to put you out.
He can. Once
But-
the judge
Yeah,
says
exactly.
it's okay.
Exactly.
Right.
So, do I have a duty as the landlord to provide you with utilities during that period?
That's a wonderful question, Daryl. It may be that if you know that there are small children who are there and the utilities are a part, well, certainly if it's a part of the lease, you can't turn them off.
Right, yeah. But this,
Because I had a landlord that asked me the other day, could he turn the water off?
no, genius. Don't turn,
Man, can I at least turn the water off because they won't pay? I said, don't you dare do anything, none of that. You cannot turn off the water, you can't turn the air off, you can't turn the utilities off, you can't change the locks, you can't do any of those things. Or your tenant might wind up owning your property.
Yeah.
It's an unlawful ouster
Right.
when you do that.
Right.
So be very careful in this situation. But there are some things that you can do.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to try to do is help them understand what they can do.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to put nobody out. So a recent case that I just, won real recently.
Okay.
And what happened is the lady, I don't know what she was thinking on. She was on some new stuff. But she bought this piece of property from another lady on a quitclaim deed. And what they thought was by doing this quitclaim deed, that somehow it changed whomever's responsibilities. So they decided that they're going to put my clients out. They sent them a letter saying, hey, you need to be out by this time. And then they commenced to putting their stuff on the street.
What? No court order?
No court order,
No
no
nothing?
My client left to go deal with some family issues, was gone for 4 or 5 days,
Remember I told you about that the other day. Remember I told you that the landlord can deem the property abandoned.
Not like that, man.
If you're gone,
If
they
I got
can't
mine-
reach you.
Well, let me help you out. The judge don't agree with you. let me help you out. The judge don't agree with you. And again, I don't agree with it either.
I think it's 7 days. And your clients were only gone like 4 or 5 days.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
When last time you've been on vacation for 7 days?
I usually try to get about 6 or 7 days when
yeah,
you go.
and think about it.
Yeah.
And the city or most employers give you 2 weeks vacation.
Right.
So if you
That's
took
14 days.
14 days.
Right.
So in your mind, if you took a 2-week vacation, you could be evicted.
No, what I'm saying is that if nobody knows,
I don't have no duty to tell the landlord I'm going on vacation.
but your mail is gathering.
Duh.
The newspapers
I'm not
are in
there.
the yard.
I'm not
But
there.
usually most people who have not abandoned will get their neighbors to get their mail there.
Dude, when I go on vacation, I tell no one.
And you let your
I
newspapers
let
and stuff just gather
everything
in.
gather up.
Really?
I don't care.
But that's also signaling burglars that you're not there.
That's why I got cameras. You know what? And I'm gonna tell you like I tell my wife. That's why I got insurance.
Okay.
That's why I got insurance. And I got good insurance. So
Right.
still what you want.
Right. Doesn't matter to you.
It's material.
Okay.
I can't be.
That's true.
Now obviously, something wrong with you as a burglar if you steal my pictures.
Right. Right.
You stealing pictures of me, you got some problems, So burglars don't only want your pictures; they want other stuff.
Yeah, they want other stuff.
Yeah. So let's answer this question.
Okay.
I've been renting for 6 years on an agreement, no lease. The landlord now says he needs the house, no other reason, and he's giving us 30 days to move out. what rights do I have?
Well, for one, I don't like the idea that you say you've been renting a place for how many years?
6 years.
6 years
Without an agreement.
Without on an agreement, not a lease.
On an agreement.
Yes, there's no lease.
We had an agreement. Well, I don't know. So the question is what that agreement
Yeah, what does agreement mean? Yeah.
Is it if the agreement is in writing,
Right.
it's analogous to a lease.
That's what I would think too.
But in order to have a valid agreement, normally it's supposed to be in writing.
Don't question. Yeah.
However, if y'all been working on a course of dealing for 6 years, then the court will probably say that y'all have an agreement.
I think that's absolutely correct.
But I think that agreement is a tenancy by the month.
I think it's a month-to-month
month-to-month lease.
which requires only a 30-day notice.
That's all they're required to give them is 30, and that's what this person gave them.
Yeah.
He's giving us 30 days. Hey, he must have talked to a lawyer.
But I think that may not be reasonable.
I don't disagree.
Well, for instance, you've been in a place for 6 years. It's almost impossible to move in 30 days.
Yeah, okay.
That's unreasonable.
Okay, so let me just say this. I may not disagree with you.
Okay.
But here's the problem. That's why you get a lease.
Well.
I don't disagree with you.
Well, that's true. But
because this is a black letter law here.
But most people are not that sophisticated.
Well,
in order to do things formally. In fact, that's why we have jobs. Isn't it? Because folk don't do the right thing. They don't really know what to do or how to do.
Well, let me help this person out.
Okay.
The law says you are a tenant, a month-to-month
Month-to-month tenant, right.
So all he has to do is give you a 30-day notice.
That's right.
But let me help you out. It would probably, once the 30 days expire, they go file a FED to put you out.
Well, they really need to file the FED before they give the 30-day notice.
No, you can't do it.
Well, remember, that's what the judge asked you. Did you get notice?
Yeah.
That's one of the questions, right?
Yeah,
Have you given notice?
Yeah, but I got to give you notice.
Right.
Right? So I give you, if there's no writing, I got to give, the statute requires you to give notice.
Okay.
If there's no waiver.
Okay.
So I give you notice. That means that you got 30 days to get out.
Right.
I can't do anything. I can't even start the action.
Really?
No, I can't start the action until the 30 days expire.
Okay.
Because I gave you 30-day notice.
Okay.
It would be hypocritical, and I think a person like me will use it against you. You gave me 30 days, and you started evicting me before the 30-day window expired.
But I can always withdraw it. I can always drop it from the calendar. I can always do all these things. If you follow through with what you are supposed to do, what we've agreed to do, and it's done, when I get to court, I can always drop it from the calendar,
Man,
Your Honor.
Did we flip scripts? Did we flip scripts? Because that's normally what I would be arguing.
Am I Darrell O'Neal?
Yeah, that's normally what I'll be arguing. But you're still wrong.
Yeah, I think you can do that. I think you can drop it from the calendar, right? How many times have you dropped something from the calendar?
You drop it all the time.
Okay. All right.
But think about this.
Okay.
Here's the problem. When you do an FED and you file it and you serve somebody, right? The law says that it has to be heard within 10 days.
Okay.
Okay, so the law requires that it be heard in 10 days. So if you file this and serve me, and the 30 days hadn't expired, and it's not going to expire before that 10-day window, you got a problem now.
Well, you can always go to court and ask for a continuance there. We do that all the time, too.
You get one continuance.
And we can continue by fax.
Yeah, but you get one continuance.
Okay.
You get one continuance, and that's for 10 days. If
there's an agreement, you can go more than 10 days.
Yeah. But
that's what I'm saying.
If I'm that guy,
but that guy doesn't know.
That
guy doesn't know he don't have to agree to a continuance. In fact, he's happy.
Here's what that guy is going to say, because I know this guy. Here's what that guy is going to do when he shows up to court on the first day, right? He's going to start talking. Your Honor, he gave me 30 days. It ain't even 30 days. He's trying to put me out before the 30 days start. Okay. And depending on which judge you get, the judge is going to go off.
Okay.
You know that.
Your Honor, he still hadn't paid. The 30 days, he still hadn't paid, and he hadn't moved.
Again, the 30 days hadn't expired. You gave him notice of 30 days.
And more than likely that he's not going to even show up.
So
I'm going to get it by default.
Yeah, maybe.
right?
No, that guy's showing up.
I think I am starting to feel like Daryl O'Neal.
This guy right here is showing up.
He gonna show.
This guy's
Okay.
showing up. But the thing about it is,
Okay.
So here's the help for this guy. Look, don't listen to Jerome. Jerome wrong on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And he's trying to be the landlord, and he ain't even a good landlord on this.
Okay,
one.
okay.
Because here's what I would do if I was a savvy tenant.
Okay.
After my 30 days expired, and say hypothetically, the most you could probably get is about 60 days. Okay? Because what happens is once you're 30 days.
Wait a minute, Daryl. I disagree that you're being a savvy guy. You're being a dishonest guy. That's what
No,
you're
I'm
doing.
not.
You know you're supposed to be out in 30 days, but you're gonna you're gonna ride. You're gonna ride an additional 30 days
I can't
and try to push them on.
I'm not being dishonest, Jerome. I can't do. I got 6 years worth of material here. I can't do it in 30 days.
Okay. Well, then what you tell the landlord?
The landlord don't care. He ain't hearing me.
Okay.
He already told me I got 30 days.
Okay.
I'm telling this guy how he can get another 30 days.
Okay.
And here's how he get
And then another 30 days.
Well, he can't get another 30 days. Because here's what happens. The guy files a lawsuit against you after the 30-day window.
Okay.
What ends up happening is it's going to take 3 to 4 days to get you served.
At least.
Okay. So now we're at day 35 to 37.
Right.
You go to court. The first setting, you automatically get a continuance.
Well, you got to ask for it.
Well, you ask for a
Yeah,
continuance.
and that means you got to show up.
It means you got to show up.
Okay.
So now that's 37 days, right?
Okay.
You get 10-day continuance.
Right.
That's another 10 days. We're at 47 days.
Right.
Okay. You go back to court on day 47. You have your hearing, right?
Right.
Then a judgment. That's day 48.
Right.
The judgment can't be final until 10 days.
10 more days.
10 days.
Right.
That's day 58.
Right. And then if it falls on the weekend, you got the other 2 days
The
you're
other
looking
2
for.
days. And then once day 58 comes up, they got to go back to court to get a writ of execution.
Completely, and then the following day,
For the following day,
they can ask
that's
for a
60
writ.
days.
So you got your 60 days. Yeah. That's dishonest.
Hey,
That's dishonest.
it ain't my
I thought you had a savvy client who wanted to do the right thing.
I did want to do the right thing. I can't get out in 30 days.
So ask the landlord.
You just told me you ain't giving it to me. You giving me 30 days. That's why we are where we are.
Okay. All right.
If
But I do agree that 30 days is not enough time
Right.
for someone to get all of their things together after 6 years in the same spot. Mm-hmm. It's just almost impossible to do. So I would recommend to the landlord to give them at least 45 days because you got to be reasonable.
Yeah, but let's add on to this.
Okay.
So if I just don't pay the rent for the month and I move out, what are the consequences?
It's detrimental because you can't use your security money to pay your last month's rent. That's what they're thinking, right?
Well, you could.
Can you?
Well, you could under certain caveats.
Okay.
What happens is, a lot of people don't know this, after you move out, after the 30 days, they got to give you 10 days to come back and, they got to give you the
Give you a walkthrough.
A walkthrough.
Right.
And then if you don't show up on the walkthrough, they should take pictures and so on and so on. And if you don't show up on the walkthrough, then they can take the security deposit for whatever damages that are owed to them. And then whatever the remaining, they should send back to you unless you owe them money for rent.
Okay. Okay.
So they can use it.
Well, see, most people don't understand that in fact the lease will say that, don't it? That you cannot use your deposit as your last month's rent.
You cannot. It's not supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's what and I think Earlton may say something.
I think that's exactly
He may say
right.
something like that. But now this goes a little bit further. It says,
Okay.
I want to move out because I had to quit my job to move in full time to be a caregiver to a family member. Well, dog, you're asking for too much now.
Wait a minute. So in the property that's under the eviction is where they moved into as a caregiver?
No,
or they left that place and went to do the caregiver?
Somewhere else.
I think that may be good grounds to break a lease.
I don't think so.
What?
I don't think so. So I think that there's really 2 grounds to break lease. 2 legitimate legal grounds to break lease. Number one is you're getting military activation movement and something of that
Right.
nature. I think that's the number one.
That's
reason.
one, yeah.
And I think the second reason is your job changes.
You get another job out of state.
Yeah, your job changes.
All right.
I think those are the only two reasons.
Well,
that
there
you
are
can break
also
a
too.
lease.
I saw something in.
Say it again. Okay, but they don't have to on that though. Yeah. No, I'm talking about where they have to. Yeah.
But also too is the place becomes uninhabitable, or
Well,
I wanted to say this early on too with the person who asked about can I get the landlord to put bars up, particularly if my place has been broken into many times. I no longer feel safe. You can break your lease for that too. If they're shooting every night there,
Yeah,
just like they
then-
shot up the place the
Yeah.
other day, you can get out of that lease.
I think so. I
Okay.
think you can argue because you have what they call a right of quiet enjoyment.
That's exactly right.
So-
Quiet, peace, and
Yeah.
enjoyment.
But breaking into your house one time, I don't think that rises to that level, Jerome.
Yeah, remember we just talked about this the other day. Remember I told you about something you said, well, I'm dead at that point. Remember you saying that?
I do.
Remember saying that? So it's the same thing. So I got to wait until he come back again and kill me? Oh, my God. And
I don't know what you're talking about.
that's
man.
analogous to that, Daryl. The place, I'm a single female.
Okay.
I have children.
Yeah.
I work at night. My place has been broken into, and I do not feel safe anymore, and the landlord is not doing anything to help. I believe you can break your lease for
I
that.
don't think you can because the lease has a provision in it where you are responsible to do anything you want to do. You can put bars up you want to. You can change the locks. You can put a steel door. You can do whatever you want to do. That's why I put it in your lease. Whatever you have here is yours and you're responsible. Any changes you want to make is your responsibility. So if you choose not to make those changes, that's your issue.
I think you have an obligation to make it safe.
I don't.
Well, think about this, Darren. Think about this. Premise liability.
Well, yeah.
Think about if so say I own a restaurant.
That's totally different now.
Well, but you
that's
have
different.
invited me to come in, and you're not making it safe. You know good and well.
That's apples and oranges.
No, you didn't make it safe because
We
you know that
cannot
they
make-
break in even before I moved in.
Yeah, but we can't do a restaurant.
Listen what I'm saying.
Yeah, allow us to a home.
I'm just trying to show there are some liability. Okay.
Now for a home now.
So before I moved in, this place, and my neighbor told me, man, they done broken that place
Yeah,
10 or
but you-
15 times, and now you up in there.
Dude, really? You chose. Look, if you don't do your due diligence, why can't I be a?
What kind of due diligence?
They have
you
crime
got a place.
stats.
You
No,
got
they
a-
got crime stats. You can get crime stats for every neighborhood. I mean, you know what? And you like all these other people, man. Here's what you are. You want to give everybody an excuse for that nonsense.
There.
I don't wanna
You mean
do my due
You mean tell me
diligence.
I got to look up the crime rate and
It's
see how
it's
many
free.
times?
It's free. I mean,
And
it's
the
good.
landlord doesn't have any responsibility.
I'm telling you, I'm not hiding anything
The
from you.
landlord has to, well, maybe say.
No, I'm not saying to you, hey man, this is the best neighborhood in the world.
Well, you are saying that.
I ain't said
You're
nothing.
saying that, man, you're going to enjoy this place.
Here's what I'm saying
I just
to you.
remodeled.
I did. I did. I just remodeled. I made some changes.
Right.
Once you come in and you inspect it, once you come in,
and they
it's
broke
on
it,
you.
And they broke it into here 5 or 6 times.
No, I'm not going to tell you that.
Why not?
Because there's a crime report you can get that on.
I think you got an obligation.
Hey, I don't have no obligation to tell you that.
There, if you're buying a home, don't you have an obligation to disclose
Latent
problems
defects.
with it?
No, I'm latent defects. They ain't what's latent about the crime stats?
Because they broke it into the
Oh,
place
my
over and
goodness.
over and again.
Hey,
Darryl.
man, hey, Jerome on that new stuff, y'all. Jerome on that new stuff, y'all. I don't know what it is,
Darryl,
but I don't want none.
Darryl,
Let me
it's-
just say
Darryl,
it.
it's reasonable for me to expect that this place is going to allow me the quiet, peace, and enjoyment
That's a different
that I
argument.
deserve
That's
for
a-
my family.
that's a different
But you
argument.
know that the crime rate is
I
through the
don't know
roof
that. I
in
don't
this
know.
area.
I'm
You
not-
know that the woman 2 doors down has got raped and robbed.
But I'm not. It ain't my job to tell you the crime stats. Dude, crime stats Okay, hey, you getting ready to move in Germantown. Hey, Germantown School, I don't know if you want to live in Germantown because, you know, Germantown School has had this happen. The Germantown neighborhood, you know, there's all this racism in Germantown. I mean, why do I got to tell you all this
We're
stuff?
talking about a different thing there. We're talking about my home.
I'm telling
my
you.
castle, where I get off and come to my
It's
place.
the neighborhood. It's the same. Hey, man, we got to go. Hey, Jerome got me. I mean, I don't even drink. I got to go drink. I got to go give me a drink now. Jerome, I don't even drink. Jerome want me to go get a drink, y'all.
Oh, there. It's Judges 7:2-34, where it says about the militia. I'll show it to you next time.
All right, y'all. Thank you for watching the show. We'll see you
Judges
back next week.
6:34. I'll show you next time what a
Thank
militia
y'all.
is, okay?
All right now.